Hey, it's the Empire, Geoboxing Empire, Backshot Boxing. Now, man, big news, man. Oscar De La Hoya, they had a deal struck with the Zone talking about collaboration, and basically, Oscar De La Hoya's fighters were being featured on the Zone. Now, the Zone works with people like Anthony Joshua, who signed with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, and like I said earlier, Oscar De La Hoya. Um, they had a deal with him. Now, you had fighters here and there who used to fight under PBC, like Jesse Vargas, Mikey Garcia, showcase their talents on the Zone, right? You even had Daniel Jacobs, who was still advised under Al Heyman, working with Eddie Hearn and the Zone and Matchroom. It, Al Heyman, if you guys didn't know, not only does he have PBC, but the guy's a lawyer, right? Basically, Al Heyman works as an intermediary to basically get you the best deal, right? Now, that all being said, man, with this deal expiring with the Zone, De La Hoya in America, I believe, had an exclusive deal with the Zone, right? Now, there is Anthony Joshua, but he's with Eddie Hearn, and that's a UK organization. But with this deal expiring from the Zone, this is an opportunity for PBC to step in and do fights with the Zone. Now, I broke down earlier how you had fighters like Daniel Jacobs with Matchroom, but still advised under Al Heyman, right? Same thing with Triller. At one point in Steve Cunningham's career, he's with PBC, right? All that being said, man, I can name each organization. Each organization, you can still be advised under Al Heyman, because Al Heyman will basically negotiate the contracts for you instead of having some manager you picked out from obscurity to do it for you. Without all being said, man, yeah, PBC can be working with the Zone. They can be working with Triller. They can do many. They have a big roster. PBC fighters, there's a lot of those guys, and Fox can't possibly put on all the fighters they need to make all these PBC fighters happy. There's a saying in PBC that these PBC fighters fight only one time a year. Well, maybe Foxes don't have the deep pockets to really get those things popping off. But with the deal ending with Oscar De La Hoya this year, the Zone could definitely throw some big money up and get these fighters to fight on their own platform, which would be a big deal for the PBC. Now, if you don't know, man, there's not too many big names in boxing as far as promotions go. There's, in America at least, there's only really Top Rank, and then there's PBC. And then you have some real smaller ones like Cafe Duvernay, really, really small promotions. You got really other smaller promotions that really are just, obscure at best. Kathy something, I forgot her last name, but it's Sergey Kovalev's last promoter. Some chick, I forget, I don't even know her name really. Kathy something. But with all that being said, man, this is a really big deal. The Zone is heavy into boxing. They're at one point wanted to put up $100 million for the Deontay Wilder Anthony Joshua fight. So they're heavily invested in boxing. So in my opinion, they're not going to just stop messing with boxing, and they're going to want to go to the best platform for their money, most bang for the buck. They really don't care who fights as long as they make money from it, right? Now, the PBC roster, there's a big roster. And if they're going to pay, I heard they paid Mikey Garcia like $6 million or $5 million or something like that to showcase their talents. That kind of money, yeah, they got the bag. They got the bag to pay these fighters top dollars, right? Now, that all being said, understand that showcasing someone's talents on different networks is a really big deal. It gives more exposure to different networks, not only for the network itself, but for organization at heart, which is the PBC, right? If you actually watch PBC fights, first they'll have, like if it's on Fox first, Fox will show the highlights first, then the PBC will show it next, like the next day. So that all being said, so the Zone, they don't actually have fighters signed to their own platform. They use other organizations to do it for them, such as Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions, Matchroom, Boxing. They have their own organization, or they sign independent contractors like Mikey Garcia, who really don't have a promoter at all, who just going to a fight to fight basis. or even Devin Haney. Right now, he's a free agent right now. He's not signed to anyone. There's a lot of fighters in boxing who actually don't have a promoter. Even Errol Spence Jr., believe it or not, doesn't have a promoter officially. He fights under the PBC, but he actually doesn't have a promoter. But yeah, man, DAZN, one thing they do really well is they put highlights together that are really good, right? The fight will happen, and then they'll, like an hour later, they'll have a freaking 20-minute video of highlights. This is basically the fight, you know? So DAZN does do things really well, and it's crazy, man. I don't know how they do it, but apparently, I mean, every time the highlights pop up in any fighter, they're getting at least 1 million views a video for these boxers. So they do have a reach, man. They do have a certain demographic, and there's like a lot of war going on between these networks as far as boxing goes. But I don't think people understand that the DAZN is not really a boxing network. They really don't have their own platform going on. They're not signing anyone really. What they'll do is they'll be a partner at best. So they'll work with a real boxing company, and then they'll pay them the money to showcase their talents. Now, DAZN pits up big money, so they might own the rights to the fighters, fight, because they pay so much money up front. I'm pretty sure they're owning the royalty rights to the fight, but they're not actually having a boxing, golden boy type company where they have a roster of fighters. They'll just pay for the rights to the fight so they can make money from the fight, so they can preview it and show it again, et cetera, to build their library, right? So with all that being said, man, I don't see why the PBC and the DAZN couldn't work together. The Golden Boy is having a real crisis right now as far as top fighters. We all know with Canelo just left Golden Boy Promotions. He signed with PBC. He's gonna fight Caleb Plant. They already said it's a 3-fight deal, so he's gone. Canelo's gone. Right, the only thing that Golden Boy really got now is Ryan Garcia and Virgil Ortiz. Ryan Garcia is really inactive. He's always having mental health crisis. And Virgil Ortiz, good fighter, but he's never even been a champion yet. Both of these fighters, Ryan Garcia or Virgil Ortiz, they're not champions yet. None of these guys are champions. So right now it's all hype and none of it's real life. Do they look like the goods? Possibly, but they haven't even got the title yet. Let's not jump the gun, guys. Sometimes in boxing, people get carried away with the hype. And yeah, the guy, they're looking good, but let's be honest, they're struggling before they get the title. They're getting dropped, they're getting hurt, they're getting wobbled, Ryan Garcia got dropped in that fight, right? And Virgil Ortiz, he got dropped against the Velasquez fight, but they didn't call it a knockdown, right? So yeah, man, it's better to have these PBC fighters fight under their organization because they have a big roster, man. They just got a big roster. Sometimes they can't foot a bill for the big fight. Sometimes you just got to get your consumer used to boxing in general. So therefore, you got to get these up-and-coming fighters coming up. There's a lot of fights in boxing that go under the radar that aren't quote-unquote big-name fights, but they're fireworks for sure. So we're going to see what DAZN does with this contract ending with Golden Boy, man. I got big hopes for DAZN to sign with my boy Al Heyman because Canelo's over there now. The biggest name in the face of boxing, quote unquote, right? The face of boxing, quote unquote. Well, where's DAZN gonna go? They're in it to make money. They're not in it for loyalty. They're in it to make money. So they're gonna go where Canelo's gonna go, and Canelo's a PBC, fighting Caleb Plant, and he's gonna fight all PBC fighters for the rest of his 3-fight deal. So it's gonna be most likely Benavidez or Jamal Charlo. Big stuff, man. Big stuff. I'm really excited that the contract's ending. Golden Boy, they had a squandered opportunity. They really didn't make any big moves under DAZN. There's never any really big legacy fights under the DAZN that really was like, this is the fight that defined the generation type stuff. They could have had it with Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. It didn't happen. Just didn't happen. So we're gonna see what happens, man. That undisputed fight with Canelo Alvarez, that's a historic fight right there. And the PBC are gonna own that stuff. Big facts. Let me know what you guys feel about it though. Like, comment, subscribe. It's the Empire. Geoboxing Empire. Peace. Empire.